First speaker will be Rebecca Seymour. She's working on the pathways of team collaboration, level 5, lead in any situation. Her title is none hurt. This evening, Rebecca will be sharing with us her lesson learned as Vice President of Education. Her at Springfield Igniters. Timekeeper, she will need 8 to 10 minutes. Please help me welcome Rebecca Seymour.
Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. For one of my projects, it said that I needed to do a 360-degree evaluation of when I had volunteered in a volunteer organization. Well, most of the organizations, I haven't really volunteered in very many organizations except for Toastmasters. So, as I was Vice President of Education a couple years ago, and I'm doing it again, I decided to go ahead and email a 360-degree evaluation to my fellow club members to see what they thought of my time as Vice President of Education here at Springfield Igniters. I had been Vice President of Education for several years. And then I was president, and then I went back to Vice President of Educational for a little while. And then I tried doing president again. But you never really figure out what it is you're supposed to be learning. I just kind of did the same thing over and over until I decided to send this out and see what it is I might have been able to do well and what I might need to improve on a little bit. Well, I've received a couple of these 360-degree evaluations back, and I want to go over it with you and maybe get a little bit of feedback at the end to see if anybody else has any ideas on how I could improve my time as Vice President of Education and how I can improve. I had heard that I excel at providing a clear sense of purpose, direction, and responsibility to team members. I usually send out the agenda, which Bert's kind of taken over for me, and filling people in so that way we can get all of our roles filled so it's not at the last minute. When we were meeting in person a few years ago, I would print off the agenda. I'd print off like 2.5 months at a time, or 4 to 5 meetings, and I'd pass it around the room. Sometimes this helped us to fill out the agenda. Sometimes it took doing it for a couple times and sending emails out to get people to sign up for roles. And I also had found out that I am exemplary in acting and behaving in a manner consistent with his or her statements. I tried to be very forthcoming, and when somebody asked me to do something, I say that I'm going to do it, and I do it. Just a few months ago, I was actually awarded the Supportive Award at work, which means that when I'm asked to do something, I step forward and say, yes, I will. There's no back and forth or I'll think about it. I'm like, yes, I'll do that. And because of that, they know that they can count on me. And I have been able to host and bartend at several of different restaurants around the hotel because of that. And I've also been told that I excel in managing issues in an effective manner. An example of how I positively contribute through my leadership is that I respond promptly to requests for action, as I mentioned, for why I had received the supportive award at work. The one item that I received, though, about how I can improve on my leadership is I could and stand to be a little bit more proactive to assist team members in meeting their goals. I know Bert's going to be helping with this quite a bit with trying to get at least have everybody get at least, I think it's 4 speeches each in the next 6 before the end of December. I think that's what it was. Bert will talk about that a little bit more. He's gone out and he started assigning roles and speeches. That way we can all get our speeches in. So we don't have people just lagging in at the last minute, filling in the timer role and Grammarian all counter and getting those speeches done. I've also been told I'm exemplary in being open to constructive feedback. And I know that without that feedback, sometimes people can't improve. But I also help excel in giving appropriate feedback that is timely and constructive, and I manage conflict effectively. One way that I have demonstrated effective communication is that I listen to the team and respond with easy to understand directions. So I know without these easy to respond to understand directions, sometimes people get lost, such as in the hotel. After about 4 or 5 turns or directions, they're like, oh, where was I trying to go after the 5th or 6th one? Like in the hotel, Gaylord Opryland is really big. So when people ask me where's the nearest restroom or how do I get to Old Hickory Steakhouse, I try to say through the white marble hallway up the stairs on your left. Because if you don't understand, if it gets too extensive, people get lost. And it's very easy to do in the Opryland Hotel. And describe how she has implemented constructive feedback in directing team members' goals to meet I know without helping you to understand what the goals might be and how we can better reach them, maybe we won't get there. But I know Bert is going to help us this year as club president with helping us to reach our goals for the year. He's already mentioned that, and I know he's already working towards it. And I look forward to maybe 1 year with Bert as our club president that we can get to distinguish. I've also been told that I am exemplary in showing genuine concern for all team members, and I am perceived as trustworthy. And I am very appreciative of that. I try to be. And I can at times be shy. I should be more outgoing. That may be an effort at times. But I've been told that at Toastmasters, I am very different than how I appear at work or how I used to be. When I first joined Toastmasters, I was very shy, very introverted. And I told a few people this. And then I took them to a district conference. And she kind of followed me around, saw me talking to people, and she's like, you're shy? Like, I would not consider you that person. And I'm kind of glad about that I've been able to come out a little bit, and it's helped being in Toastmasters. And I also provide quick responses or answers when requested, which is all, and always thinks of overall team goals. I try to. As for problem solving, I'm always trying to think of ways a team member can meet their individual goals. I sat down with Sherry before this whole thing started, and we went through all of her speeches that she'd done and what she had left to do, and we started laying out a plan for when she could do the remaining speeches, and so she could get her Distinguished Toastmaster Award, which she has since received. I was very glad to have received this 360-degree leadership, and it has helped me to better improve myself and my leadership skills. Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster.